Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner. I'm quite upset with this guitar, to be honest. This is the Baum Celestor, their newest model. And when it arrived a few days ago, I unboxed it and thought, okay, wow, that looks really good. Then I grabbed it and I felt like I love the neck. I love everything about it. Then I plugged it in and I loved the tone. And then I did the mistake of comparing it with my beloved highly modded Strat right behind me. There it is. And that's when I became quite upset with this guitar. Let me explain in a second. Check out the description box under the video. You'll find a link to the Baum website if you want to find out all about this guitar. You'll find my signal chain in there. You'll find timestamps, additional infos, etc. Oh, and of course, if you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be much appreciated. So, this is the Baum Celestor. And it's a really cool take on an S-type guitar, S-style guitar, whatever you want to name it. It's the inspiration is clearly visible. Yet it still looks and feels like a Baum guitar, which is I think the biggest achievement here. I'll talk about specs and details and everything, but the first impression is that it does not feel like a Strat, which is really cool actually. It feels like the ergonomics in terms of where the pots are, the switch and the tremolo and everything, you know, the scale length, it's all exactly how you expect it on a guitar like this, but the neck profile is very different. I haven't had any like Fender products in my hands with that kind of neck shape. It's a subtle difference, but it's definitely a noticeable one. And the thing that I'm most picky about is crazy on this guitar. It's the edge of the fretboard. It feels so expensive. That's the first impression. Like, it feels like a dream. You barely even feel the frets, and still the strings don't necessarily slide off the fretboard, which is usually some sort of a sacrifice one does when you round off the edges too much, like make it super round and smooth. I didn't notice anything like that, which is a big thing, of course, because it's annoying when the string slides off the fretboard. That kind of fretboard edge treatment is mind-blowing. Before I get into the specs, let's hear the guitar clean first in all positions and everything. I'm going with the guitar into the Echo Fix spring reverb pedal and then into the Tone King Imperial Mark II head. And I'm using the clean channel, which is the rhythm channel of the amp, and it's like a hot-rodded, modded, perfected deluxe reverb sound. The body is made out of mahogany, which is a standard wood choice for Baum, not that much for S-style guitars, which is something I find really cool. Then the back of the neck is roasted maple and the fretboard is rosewood. The tuners are custom made by Baum. These are high ratio, sort of very precise tuners with a brass shaft. They developed their own vibrato for this guitar. It's called the True Tone vibrato or tremolo or whatever you want to call it. And it has huge block steel saddles and a big brass block, which is great. If you combine these two materials, you get best of both worlds. Steel saddles usually give like a snappy tone, a nice presence, and a brass block just helps the mid-range and like the sustain and everything. It's a very, very sweet combination, and it keeps the tuning pretty well. It's really stable for this kind of a traditional 6-screw kind of vibrato. Let's talk about the pickups for a second, because there's something really interesting here. These are called the Goldsound Verve pickups. These are Baum's own single pickups, and they're Alnico 5, and the output, or well, the resistance is 7.3 for the neck, 7.5 for the middle, and 8.5 for the bridge. So the bridge is beefed up, which is usually very nice because you have more chances of getting a nice rock sound out of it. And there's something interesting about the pickup positions. So in the 5th position, the neck position, you have this pickup. Then in the 4th, you have these two, all traditional until now. Then in the middle position, you don't get the middle, you get these two. You get the neck and the bridge pickup, which is really cool and kind of Tele-esque. Even though it does not sound like a Tele, it sounds still like this guitar, but it's a really cool sort of full sounding middle position. Then the 2nd position is of course bridge and middle, and the 1st position is the bridge alone. Also, the tone knob is modded compared to like a traditional Stratocaster, because this one has the 2nd tone wired to the bridge pickup, which is very handy because this way you can sort of balance out the crispiness and the presence of that pickup alone when you select the 1st position compared to any of the other positions. And now let's address this situation, me being upset with the Celestor, with this guitar. I just play it against my Strat behind me, that one, in a blindfold for you, and you tell me which is which. I give you a couple of seconds to write your guesses in the comments below. It's not like the guitars are identical, but very similar in a way, and I do prefer a setting on mine, and I do prefer another pickup position on this one, which is a little annoying, so no wonder I'm upset. I've spent so much time and money on that guitar to be my perfect Stratocaster, and it is in a way, but the value, like a heavily modded, super expensive guitar at this point compared to this, which is way more reasonable in every way and stock. There's no mods here. All right, so guitar A was my Strat and guitar B was the Baum Celestor. Honestly, I prefer position 4 of my guitar because I was really specific about what kind of pickups do I put in there. Those are 2 neck pickups, also in the middle position, so neck pickups. So there's no phase cancellation happening in the 4th position. So the hum is still there in the 4th position, which is in more modern Strats is never the case. I wanted that because that does something to that 4th position. But the neck pickup, so the 5th position of this guitar, is just so chewy, has a real good punch, just a very good EQ curve. It's like, I prefer this, but hey, whatever. All right, so my thoughts on the guitar. It's really cool because it is very affordable for what it gives you, for what it feels like. This is an absolute dream. It's comparable with any super high-end 5K, 10K custom shop guitar. Crazy. The neck, the ergonomics, everything about it is just really, really sweet. The body is thinner, which is something I kind of noticed at first, but I couldn't put my head around, like, why does this feel more, I don't know, ergonomic? Because the armrest is, you know, it's a different shape, but it's an armrest. It's cool. The belly cut is kind of similar to what we're used to. You know, everything feels normal, but the body is a little thinner, which just makes the guitar sit closer to you, which is very nice. The neck is a modern C. It's something that people love, like most people adore this. It's not too thin, it's not too thick, it's rounded off, as mentioned in the beginning of the video, in a perfect way. It feels like a much more modern, much more fine-tuned guitar compared to like a, you know, like a vintage spec instrument, which is nice because it just gives you a vibe of not just copying an S style, but going in a much more creative direction and creating an S style that is not just a copy of all other S styles. That's awesome. Also, 12-inch radius is something that is just, it feels more modern compared to like a 7¼ inch or a 9½ inch. I was really struggling with finding anything to criticize because I feel like whenever I like something that much, it's like, yeah, blah, blah. You're just, you know, you're just paid to say that. It's like, no, I'm not paid to say that. I'm paid to work on a video for hours and hours. But the only thing I could find that I can criticize and be picky about is the switch, the 5-way switch. It's a little stiff. Could be just on this guitar and it's totally different on all other Celestors. I don't know. I only had this one in my hand. It's fine. It's perfect. It clicks in really well. It's stable. It doesn't do weird things. It's very reliable, but it's a little too stiff. Like, I'm used to a very smooth switch for the pickup selector, and this is just something that I would want to tweak maybe a little bit or maybe replace. Depends on if it's tweakable or not. But all the pots are really smooth, all 3 perfect. The tremolo is ridiculous. It's much more stable than my guitar, which is, again, that's a very high-end tremolo on there, or vibrato on that Strat. And that's the most stable I got that guitar. I can use it, but I cannot dive bomb. And this guy, this just does not want to go out of tune. But I think there's some sort of a fairy dust. I don't know, some magic, I don't know, dust that Baum uses, because My Wingman with the Bigsby is by far the most stable guitar with a Bigsby that I've ever tried. Yeah, let me know what you think about the Baum Celestor in the comments below, and see you in the next video next week. Bye bye.